But let's start here. And the NFL owners officially said, screw running backs in this NFL. Because there were 3 guys out there basically looking for deals. Rob G, jump on here. Tony Pollard with the Cowboys.
Right.
Saquon Barkley with the Giants. And Josh Jacobs with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right.
None of them had to be signed by 4 o'clock today Eastern. It didn't happen.
By the way, nobody expected it to happen.
But it didn't happen. Nobody broke down. And Fred, so these guys, Rob G, basically got nothing. So now they're saying that Tony Pollard, I guess, signed his franchise tag. He gave in. Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs apparently, reportedly, are not going to go to training camp, and they're going to hold out, and they refuse to take the franchise tag.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this, and I'm dead serious when I say this, because this infuriates me. The NFL, with all these big, strong, fearless guys who have to do a lot, Fred, to earn a living,
right,
are cowards. They refuse to stand up to these owners for what they should be making. All the NFL does is flaunt how much money they make. That's all they ever do. Look how much money we're making. We got the casinos in our back pocket and the gambling houses, and we got this and all of these TV shows. And when we put our schedule show on, look at the numbers. All they talk about is how much money they make.
Right.
But they don't want to pay the running backs a fair wage. And I even hear fans who are on board. Don't pay him. Oh, no, my God. Don't pay the running back. Let's use the guy up, Fred, for 5 years. Carry. Use him up when he's young and he's not getting paid any money. And then when the time comes to pay the guy, you don't want to do it. Franchise tag for 2 years. By that time, they're washed up. Let's just go get another guy. Let's go get another young running back, and he'll carry the load until we don't pay that guy. Somebody has to stand up and say it ain't fair and it ain't right. And not just the running backs. Where are the rest of the NFL players? It's running backs today. It's DBs tomorrow, or some other position where these guys will, Fred, decide not to pay them. Why are they allowing this to happen to some of their brethren? Everybody knows you can't win football without running the football, Fred, in certain situations. You need a yard to keep the drive going. You need a third down. You can't pass the ball. You need a running back. But they're trying to make it like running backs are a dime a dozen. And Saquon Barkley, I'm going to stand up and applaud this guy until the cows come home. He is the reason the New York freaking Giants are even relevant. He's the reason. You think it's Daniel Jones who they gave $40 million? It ain't. With Saquon Barkley in the backfield, Daniel Jones becomes a better quarterback because they have to defend Saquon Barkley. He can run, Fred, and he throws a little bit. That dude had like 13 touchdowns in the NFL last year. He's going to make $40 million, and there's no money for Saquon Barkley? Shame on the Giants. Shame on his rest of the brethren in the NFL who will let him on this fight by himself. And you know what, Saquon? You're doing the right thing. Stand up for yourself. How many times you going to let them kick you when where the cows don't come home? I mean, how many times? And you know what? Fred, in order to get in this world, you got to give. You do. Kurt Flood, you young guys listening to this show, go Google the name Kurt Flood. There's only one reason why there's free agency in sports, Fred. That guy gave up his career.
All right, you good?
I'm good.
You good now? All right. Yeah, a smattering. A smattering. I'm of the assumption that the NFL's deal and salary cap with the players is collectively bargained. There is so much money to spend. Now, I'm not saying Saquon Barkley shouldn't get more. I'm not saying Josh Jacobs shouldn't get more. Austin Eckler, who plays for the Chargers, has been talking about this. He wanted a new deal as well. And that's all fine and good. But it's collectively bargained. Rob, if we were starting a basketball team and we're going to play fast, Rob. We're going to play like the Warriors. We're going to play small ball. We're going to go for it. As a matter of fact, the entire NBA does that. Let's say that's what happens. We're going to play small ball. We're going to go for it. And I got a guy like Shaq. Now, we want Shaq on the team. There's no question about that. But we're certainly not going to pay him as he would have been paid if the game had been different. Here's the problem. The game has changed, and the way players are evaluated has changed, and the importance of players in the minds of those that operate the franchises has changed. So if you're in a league that throws the ball and you don't run very much, you need to run. And Eric Dickerson, the Hall of Fame running back from the Rams, would tell you, you can't win if you don't run. But you have got to do something so incredible. You got to be Derrick Henry. At that point, okay, all right, let's pay him. And I'm also of the belief, and I mean this sincerely, everybody is underpaid. Everybody's underpaid. I don't care what you do for a living, you should make more money. If you show up every day, if you grind, if you bust your butt, if you do a good job, I think everybody's underpaid. But the problem is the value they're placing on the position within the salary cap does not allow them to pay. Look at Daniel Jones, $40 million. You got to have a quarterback. Is he the right guy? Is he the wrong guy? Well, they're going to find out, because I always like to say, once you pay him, you got him. Now you got him. The Rams extended Matthew Stafford. Why? They didn't have to. They won a Super Bowl, but they certainly didn't have to extend him. All right, you got him. Once you pay him, you got him. And it affects your cap. They've determined in the NFL that the running back position is not as important as a wide receiver. It's pretty simple.
No, it's not, Fred. That's false.
No.
100% false. So let me explain to you.
All right, but wait. It's a passing league.
No.
And they're determining, and I'm not saying they're right, but they have determined that a receiver means more than a running back. Now, it could be wrong. It can't, Rob. It could be wrong.
Let me tell you. That's not why they're doing what they're doing. You're right. It was collectively bargained. The
Correct.
worst collectively bargained agreement in the history of unions in the United States.
All right.
And they're using the loophole in this, which allows you to burn out a guy in 5 years and then not pay. It's a loophole that they're using. It's not that a running back's not important. It's that they can use that against the running back, because most running backs the first 5 or 6 years are their best. So they're using that as the reason why they're not paying. Dalvin Cook was a Pro Bowler, is one of the best running backs in the. He's looking for a job. Why is Dalvin Cook? They don't want to pay him. It's not that he can't run or he's not important.
Yeah, but they believe they've got another young guy they can plug right in.
But that's not why. That can't be allowed if you're players in that league. Let these guys give them a 3-year contract that's fully guaranteed. After 3 years, Fred, if they're no good, you let them go. If they're good, then you pay them again.
Who gets a fully guaranteed contract in the NFL?
Well, running back should, because of the way that they're using these guys. You're asking a guy to have so many touches that affects him. He's getting hit every time he touches the ball, Fred. He's in a different position. Even wide receivers are targeted 10, 11 times a game, sometimes not even having any contact. You can't tell me that the guy who's put in the most work and has more of a possibility of an adverse effect on his livelihood is the running back, but you need the running back to win. All right, talking about the NFL running backs, I think the NFL players are cowards and should not allow this to happen to their brethren.
You all right now?
What they're doing.
Are you okay?
No, I'm okay. I'm trying to compose myself, but we got calls, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Let's get going. Dre in Michigan, appreciate your holding. You're on Fox Sports Radio, The Odd Couple. What's going on?
Fred and Rob Parker, how y'all doing today?
Doing
Good.
great. What's up, buddy?
Oh, you got it, man. Hey, listen, why do we keep expecting strong and smart tactics from the dumbest and weakest union of all sports?
No, you're right.
This is a league that allows us to say, hey, sign a 5-year contract. You play 5 years, and they say, hey, we can keep you another 2.
Exactly.
Who else does that?
No other league, none.
No other league does that. And then on top of that, they got this stupid next up policy where someone that's not as good as Aaron Rodgers, but just because he's next quarterback to get paid more than Aaron Rodgers. Now I know Aaron Rodgers makes $50 million, so that's
No, but I know your point, right?
Exactly, but you know what I'm saying. But
but they don't. But Dre, they don't get paid unless they're. Nobody's getting $40 million a year unless they don't believe the guy can play.
But Matthew Stafford got that. He was the highest paid player in the league and hadn't even won a playoff game because he was the next guy up.
Well,
that's
the Lions' fault.
Yeah,
that's the Lions' fault.
It was ridiculous.
Also, too, if you remember a couple of years ago when rookies used to come out and get those big contracts, they said, "No, we're gonna put them on the pay scale and we'll spread it out to the veterans."
And then veterans never got the money, though, Fred. Right?
They never got the money.
Nope. They said that they were going to do that, and of course they didn't do it. Thanks, Dre, for the call.
Appreciate it. Keith in New Orleans. You're on Fox Sports Radio. Go ahead.
Uncle Rob, good to be on the air with you guys again. Fred,
thank you.
Good to hear you. Good to hear you guys again back together. We miss my big brother, the new Chris, out there low managing. But yeah, man, like the previous caller said, but even more so, when you're a first round running back, even though there are few and far in between. They get that 5th-year option that the team get to exercise. It makes it even more, it sways even more so in a franchise's way, And I coach youth football, and you'll be surprised how many, kids and parents still want their kids to be the running back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be a running back to save my life. That's like even Debo doesn't want to be listed as a running back. Right? He doesn't. Because he won't get paid. He understands that. No, I'm a receiver.
Be a slot receiver.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Dennis. Or Dennis in South Carolina. My bad. You're on Fox Sports Radio. Go ahead.
Hey, Fred, Rob. Hey, Rob, I'm a longtime fan of the show. Stumbled on it a few years ago when you and Chris were just starting. Love the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely, but I got to say, as usual, when it comes to anything to do with economics, you're on the wrong side of this.
Is that right?
Thank you very much.
Well, listen, it boils down to this. I'm old enough. I remember when running backs were the key position in the NFL. Everybody growing up wanted to be a running back. They were the stars. But those days have gone. The game has changed. And the thing that's hurting them right now is simply the franchise tag. And if you recall, if I'm not wrong, maybe Fred can point to this or can clarify for me. I think the franchise tag was something that the union fought for. They wanted for someone who couldn't reach a deal with their team to be able to be paid. I think it was like the average of the top 5 salaries at their position.
That can't be that because it doesn't make sense. It hamstrings you actually.
Well, but that was a mistake they made in negotiating. At the time, what was happening is they weren't able to reach a deal, and they felt like the only way they were going to guarantee themselves some really good money was to get that provision in the collective bargaining agreement.
No, I think they got the wolves pulled over their eyes because most of the players don't read the deal. They've signed bad deal after bad deal. I don't even know what to say. That can't be. If they thought that they won with that, where they have 2 more years of you, Fred, where you can't do anything,
right?
It's a bad deal. I just can't believe it. All right,